Hi guys, Aneltion here, the African Mix Master, in another mixing tutorial. And today we're looking at compression on the lead vocal, how to get the vocal to sit in your face. And this is a challenge I've really found in most mixes in African music, mainly in Afrobeat. You find the drums beat so hard and the bass is right there, the guitars are everywhere, and the vocal does not take the main role. And when they try to just pull it up by volume, you get to find that it distorts so easily, it gets so harsh somehow. Well, there are very many factors and very many ways of handling such a case, but today let's look at compression. Let's listen to the song that we're doing, just one verse, and then we go ahead.
Let me run your Chibuga. Let me be your Lukwago in your Kampala. Let me be your Mandela. Let me be your freedom fighter in your Africa. And when you're feeling low, let me know. You should never die on the low all alone. Yeah. And when you need my love, come and phone.
Yep, that's what we're dealing with. And just in case you need to know, before the compressor, we have the Pro Q3. To get out, I try to get out some mud here, and that's not the final EQ. There is some more EQ as we go ahead on the same voice, and then we also have the de-esser to deal with the sibilances, the S, the T's, the ch. Yeah, it controls those ones. They can become so irritating. That's something else you need to watch out. I hear it a lot in so many mixes in our Afrobeat music, and then we have our compressor right about there. You had the vocal is not very much, it's not sitting so well in the mix. It's kind of quiet down there. So I'm going to use my CLA compressor here as a compressor of choice. So first I'm going to try to set it up, then I'll tell you what I've done.
Let me run your Chibuga. Let me be your Lukwago in your Kampala. Let me be your Mandela. Let me be your freedom fighter in your Africa. And when you're feeling low, let me know. You should never die on the low all alone. Yeah. And when you need my love, come and phone. Nothing beats you in my zone with your one. Yeah. Let me run your Chibuga. Let me be your Lukwago in your Kampala. Let me be your Mandela. Let me be your freedom fighter in your Africa. And when you're feeling low, let me know. You should never die on the low all alone. Yeah. And when you need my love, come and phone. Nothing beats you in my zone with your one. Yeah. Let me run your Chibuga. Let me be your Lukwago in your Kampala. Let me be your Mandela. Let me be your freedom fighter in your Africa.
Well, I believe you see the difference already, or you hear the difference. Well, what I've been doing here on this particular compressor here, we have the input, which would act like the threshold, or the compression. And then we have the output here, this output knob on the CLA 76, which would act as like the makeup gain. You say in case, when you compress, the volume gets a bit lower. So you try to gate back that lost volume. Okay. Yeah. And so in this case, that's what these two do. This one, though in this kind of compression, it's a vintage compressor. It was modeled off an old compressor. So this is how this compressor used to work in particular. I go for this particular compressor because it has a sound to it. It has a quality and a character to it. That's why I go for it. But I don't want you to get lost in those characters and what every compressor can work. Every compressor that you rely on can do, as long as it sounds good to your ears. Well, so as you compress, it brings up volume. It brings up the loudness, the volume of the audio material. So for this particular one, that's why you see I was trying to push it up. I pull it down a little here in order to not be deceived by volume. I just want to hear the compression take effect. Yes, some instances, some cases, I will want to hear a boost in the volume. Okay? Yeah, and I've had so many people on YouTube say that you don't have to hear the compressor. The compressor does not have to add volume. One thing I've lived by is there are no rules in mixing. Okay? As long as it sounds good to you and it sounds good to everyone else, that is it. Doesn't matter how you achieve the result. So sometimes I may want some volume from the compressor, just like I did here, okay? Now, you set the threshold. This one will act like the threshold, and this would act like like I said, the gain reduction. Or You may call it the makeup gain. But in this case, I just try to reduce because the more you compress, the more volume you get from this particular compressor. So I just try to reduce here to make sure it's not so much volume gain. I also want to hear the effect of the dynamic range being controlled. Well, now that brings another word, dynamic range. Dynamic range is the difference between the loudest parts of the audio and the quietest parts. So what a compressor does, it brings those parts together. It brings the loudest parts of the particular audio a little bit down, and the quietest parts will be more audible. So it controls that difference, you know? So you hear something that is consistent. Well, in this particular vocal, we don't have so much dynamic range, as you can see just by visual. Okay, it doesn't have that much difference in loudness in certain phrases. But yes, as you still look, there are some little. So my main point in this particular song here was to help you learn how to get that vocal to be thick and sit in front of your face. And now here's the technique. Oris and oris, in most cases, you should do a very slow attack on vocals so that it lets out those fast transients. Okay, the first hits of the words, they should come out so loud. Okay, and then you should always have a very, very fast release. Okay, learn that. Just, I don't know, it is a principle. It's not a rule, but a principle. A very slow attack and a very fast release. That's the technique that sits the vocal in your face. When you listen to a song, you're like, how do those guys achieve that vocal? How do they achieve that in your face vocal? That's how the pros do it. You do a very slow attack and a very fast release. So that's how I came to achieve this. So when you listen to this particular vocal,
let me run your Chibuga. Let me be your Lukwago in your Kampala. Let me be your Mandela. Let me be your freedom fighter in your Africa. Yeah, when you're feeling low, let me know. You should never die on the low all alone. Yeah.
You hear the compressor react on the tails of the phrases. It really brings them up, and the vocal comes into your face. So let me try and play it with a very fast attack and a very slow release, and hear what we get. So I'll bring the attack to be so fast, very quick, slightly there, and a slow release. And let's try to listen here.
Let me run your Chibuga. Let me be your Lukwago in your Kampala. Let me be your Mandela. Let me be your freedom fighter in your Africa.
Right about there, we hear that the vocal has gone back into the mix. It just sat back into the mix. It's not on top, okay? Because we've done a fast attack and a slow release. And now let's try to put it back, slow attack and a very, very fast release, so that it only controls the dynamics minimally, not so much. So we listen.
Let me run your Chibuga. Let me be your Lukwago in your Kampala. Let me be your Mandela. Let me be your freedom fighter in your Africa. Yeah, when you're feeling low, let me know. You should never die on the low all alone. Yeah, and when you need my love, come and phone.
I think you hear it. When I try to make a slow release and a very fast attack, the vocal sits down in the mix. When I do a very fast release and a very slow attack, it comes out in the mix. So that is how we achieve a vocal that sits in your face, a very clear and well-controlled and loud vocal. Well, the technique is in the release and attack. The ratio, I rarely use high ratios. I normally use between 2 and 4 ratio. I normally use that, and I try to get a gain reduction of around 5 to 7 dB, or even sometimes 10. Let's all look here and see how much gain reduction we are getting here.
Let me run your Chibuga. Let me be your Lukwago in your Kampala. Let me be your Mandela. Let me be your freedom fighter in your Africa. Yeah, when you're feeling low, let me know.
You see, in the loud parts, the compressor pulls down the louder parts to around -7, -7, at most -10. That's how I normally do it. That's how I love it. I find that that's always the ballpark of vocals. And bear in mind, most Afrobeat songs, most African songs, this is how we sing. We rarely have those songs whereby the dynamic range is so much different. Like the high parts are very high and the low parts, the quiet parts are very quiet. It's rare. That's not our kind of singing. Yes, I agree, the songs that are like that, but majority of the Afrobeat music that we do, listen to Nigerian music, listen to South African music, listen to Ugandan music, listen to music from Kenya, music from TZ. It's normally not so much dynamic range. It's not like pop music. It's not like you hear the way Mariah Carey would sing, you know. It's not that kind of music. So it's normally a moderate, something that is consistent, a consistent notes. So the main challenge is to get those vocals that sit in your face, whereby you hear and you're like, oh yes. That's it for today. Keep watching my channel, Anel Tunes, and please subscribe. You can get me on Facebook at African Mixmaster or Anel Tunes, and again on Instagram, Anel Tunes, and please subscribe to this channel for more tutorials. Bye-bye.